All right, Jules, let's roll on with Lukaku.
We disagree a bit on Lukaku, right?
We disagree. I want to put out a timeline so people have a sense of how this happened, because I think it is important, again, to remind people about this. So the interview took place about 3 weeks earlier. It was right around, I think, December 10th or 11th, right around the Zenit game, which Lukaku actually started. It was done by Matteo Barzaghi, who's one of Sky Italia's transfer guys. So it was clearly set up, and I don't think I'm revealing any secrets here.
Yeah, go on.
With Federico Pastorello, who's a guy who looks after Lukaku and he's an intermediary, does a lot of business, also looks after
he's
Conte
quite big. He's a big agent.
And the interview was designed to be, supposedly, the line that they're spinning is, Lukaku had a great time in Milan.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't if you're a good person? But, and he didn't like the way he left Inter. The interview is actually...
He left in the summer.
Yeah, he left Inter in the summer.
So he was so disappointed that he waited all that time
to
say a proper goodbye.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a half-hour interview. Obviously a half hour that went to air. And he talks at length about how bad he felt about leaving. He says a couple things which we'll get into later, which I don't think make any sense whatsoever. But in the course of it, he touches upon Chelsea, and he says those phrases which now everybody has heard, which I think were the heart of the problem. I think it's that, not so much the idea that I want to go back to Inter one day, because it's not going to happen in the near future, which is that he's not happy with the situation because he's not playing.
At the time of the interview, yeah.
At the time of the interview, that was true.
Yeah.
Not happy with the situation because he's not playing, but I'm a professional. I need to work harder and get back into the side, right?
Yeah.
So Sky Italia decide to hold, or the interview gets held. It doesn't run at the time. There's different versions about why they held it until now. I think it was actually simply they wanted a big chunk of programming in the story at a time of year when there is no Serie A, when he would have the full attention to Inter fans. I think it was actually his advisors who said, let's hold it. Obviously, in the interim, he starts playing and he starts scoring. He starts his first game against Brighton, was it?
Yeah.
And then the one before, he comes off the bench and scores in the 3-1 win. So this interview comes out on Friday. We get sort of excerpts from it. On Saturday, we get the whole interview. The Friday excerpts are about Chelsea. The rest of the interview really has very little to do with Chelsea. Tuchel finds out about this on Friday night, and he's surprised by what he learns. He asks for more information. He gets more information on Saturday. At some point, you may know this better than I do, because I'm not 100% sure I think he had a conversation with Lukaku on Saturday and again on Sunday.
Yeah.
Those conversations lead him to, after the first conversation on Saturday, he decides it obviously didn't necessarily go as well as Tuchel might have thought, or he wasn't necessarily satisfied with what he heard.
Yeah.
But he says, I'm playing Liverpool in 24 hours. I have a problem. Do I want to spend my time and my mental energy researching what I need to do? So he sounds out some senior players. I think it's 4 senior players in the squad. Interestingly, all older players, more experienced players. And he says, would it be a problem? From what I was told, the approach is, I'm thinking that this is a big distraction for us. Is it a problem if we would leave him out of the team?
It's something that was spoken a lot within the dressing room too. What he said, and I just don't think as a club, as a manager, even as a teammate, is good for the life of your dressing room if someone does an interview when he's not happy, and someone especially as big as Lukaku. And I think that's why I can see I had to protect the game, the club, the dressing room narrative from Tuchel. I get that. Maybe you could say they're big boys, they're all professionals. Some of them have been pros for 20 years, blah blah blah, and they don't need protection. They know this is what happened. It happens in football. They don't need protection. He could have played, and you could have buried the story very easily by saying we had a chat, timing was wrong. He kind of regrets what he said. Let's move on. I also think that in a way he sort of broke the rules of like not publicly talking about your manager, even if even if that was not the aim of the interview, there was still a little like, and I think there was a lot lost in translation, by the way, between Italy and via France and England. However, there was still a bit of like, I'm not happy with the tactics, which means like I'm not so happy with the manager. But that's the thing.
But that's not what he said.
No, but I know, but he still talked about the tactics. So, he said that it's a different formation. I have to adapt. I have to stay professional. It's not good if someone like Lukaku said, I have to stay professional. Well, you should not even say it.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.